is filming me today behind the camera. Have a seat, buddy. Okay, sit. Every time. So today I thought we would talk about some peperomia. Peperomia! So I've gone on a propagation spree with these guys. I don't know, like doing a little experimentation. So I thought, what a great day to make a video on peperomia. So I thought, you know, I'll talk about some care tips and how to propagate these babies. And, you know, talk about some of my favorite peperomia. So let's get right into it. The one I'm holding right here in my hand is a blue watermelon peperomia. And this was a propagation. And check out these babies that sprouted up. So they come in kind of funky looking, but look at the structure and gorgeousness of this leaf.
Hold it next to your head for size reference.
It's pretty big. Okay, so Taylor, do you find peperomia to be an easy plant or a hard plant?
It depends on the peperomia.
Yeah, me too. I find that they're kind of finicky in some lighting situations, but sometimes I think it's because I might be overwatering them a little bit, or they're just not the right spot. But I have had luck with these ones. Granted, sometimes I miss a watering and they don't like that. So if you look at this one, this is completely dried out. This is a Peperomia Red, and the leaves are just so cool and wrinkly and really interesting looking. And you can see where I've missed a watering. It's so dry, it's like outside the pot. You should never let your peperomia dry completely out. They do like to have moisture in the soil. You know, especially the thinner peperomia with the thinner kinds of leaves, like this one. This one has like a thicker leaf. It can hold more water in it, but these thinner leaves, like this Cabaretaredpeperomia Red, they need watered, you know, kind of regularly. And I have neglected it. So what I do in those situations though, is I take, you know, the sad, poor peperomia leaves that don't look so good. Like, I would take this.
We just lost one on the floor.
Oh yeah, here we go. Like, say this one, for example. Okay, so this fell right off the plant because of my watering and neglect. And then what I do is I pop this right in soil, like I did with this one. Okay, so I have this little teeny... Hey, so guys, here's another like propagating hack of mine. I ran out of vessels to plant stuff in. So this is like one of those little bathroom cups that you drink water out of. And I poked holes in the bottom of it. And ta-da! And so I stick the leaf just straight into the soil. You don't need a stem or anything. You can literally pop the stem off if you want to. Let's say maybe the leaf fell off and it didn't have a stem. You can either put this in water and then you'll see little babies coming out the bottom sometimes, or you can just stick this part directly in soil. So I would honestly just peel this off, and then I would just pop that directly in there. I would make a little space for it, and I would just push it down in, push the soil over it. And then in probably about 4 weeks or so, you'll see this happen. See those little babies? Isn't that cool? So that's just from me popping it in the soil. That's all I did. It didn't have a stem on it or anything. And all of those little cool little babies came in there. So that's kind of neat, I think. So this is a silver peperomia. This is another one of my propagations. Looks like that leaf is going to need to just be popped in soil because I don't like the way it looks. So I'll probably take that one off and propagate it. But these, I did it by stem. And then I just put the stem straight in there. So that's why these ones are taller. If you don't like the look of that, you can always, you know, do the other method that I just showed you where you pop it directly in the soil, and then all the things that grow, all the babies, the plant babies, will come in all the same height like this one. So there's nothing really sticking out that's really low. So this was, this guy is a product of, so you see these propagations that were hanging out in water? These are little babies that came out after the roots. So what I did was, for this one, to get that result, what I did was I took my water propagations, I took the baby right off like this, and I stuck it in soil. Then I still had this, and I stuck it back in water, and then more grew. So this is like my baby maker. Plant breeding. So I just took all these little things off and I popped them in soil, and then you just have to wait for them to grow. And I have a whole bunch of this size one right here in these little tiny containers. And yes, they do have holes in the bottom. Okay. I used my metal shish kebabber to stab those holes, just so you know. That was, I felt MacGyver-like, you know. So these here peps are going to be popped into some soil, and I will get the soil at the end of the video. I'll do that for you guys, but for now I'm just going to move forward.
But a really cool thing about certain kinds of peperomia is they always pop off the pups. So even if you do it by water propagating, you get the little pups, you can pop those off, or they'll shoot them off in the pot.
Yeah, that's true. The pups come out. Let's find one where the pups are out. This was another one, a newer one, where I took the pups and stuck them in soil.
Maybe on the...
Here's a watermelon peperomia right here, where these are all pups. These are all pups. They're kind of bigger, but look, see, I just stuck this directly in soil. These leaves, just like this. These weren't here. These are all pups. But look how healthy these are. So I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you that the kind of soil that I used for this whole thing was the potting soil mixture Miracle Grow. It's easy for me. I'm busy mom. I'm busy. I have a full-time job. Plus, you know, I like to hang out here on Plant Lux and do a lot of planty stuff. And you know how many plants I have. I have a lot of stuff to take care of, lots of responsibilities. So I just simplify my life and I just use the Miracle Grow because it's easy for me. Now, you can use whatever soil mixture is easy for you. I would probably say like 10% perlite or something like that. Maybe... what, 30% coco coir, maybe, I don't know, the rest of it, some kind of potting mix if you want to make your own. But I wouldn't overcomplicate this if you're busy and you know, you just want to do something real quick. Use whatever soil you have on hand. Sometimes I use the old soil from, you know, plants that I've potted up. And I try not to be too picky about it because I want to do it and have fun. So that's what I do. And that's what this guy's in, Miracle Grow soil. Granted, we've got it in a terracotta pot, so it'll dry out a lot faster. Just kind of food for thought. Maybe the Miracle Grow soil is something that I'm used to. So I feel like when I propagate these guys and put them in the soil that I prefer, they seem to do better. I don't know, Taylor, how you feel, but I feel like all the peperomias that I propagated using Miracle Grow are doing much better than the pots, the nursery pots that they came in. I don't know why.
I think it's because you're used to the watering schedule with the kind of soil that you use. Because you're used to the amount of moisture.
Yeah, I really think that's it. So this is an original purchase from a nursery. Okay, and yeah, it's big. It's doing okay. I've taken a ton of propagations from this guy though. A ton. And there's a lot of new pups. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, but you know, I think it's doing great. But again, like something like this, you have to really look at your peperomia. I'm going to propagate that and make more plants. There's a couple of them in here I could probably do that with. Sometimes these guys just shed leaves, and when they do that, propagate them. It works. All right. Another favorite peperomia of mine. So there's two different peperomias that I just showed you. One is the watermelon peperomia that's more like the silver bluish colored one. And the other one is more green. So this is a propagation that I did from one of my green peperomias. And these are all pups. I think these are original leaves, and the rest of this is all pups. This thing's neat. I have it in a window, so it's reaching for light though, so. All right, this is a fun one. This is one of my favorite peperomias because it's just so cool, it's super cute. This is a propagation. Look how awesome this is doing. Again, I used Miracle Grow soil, nothing fancy. This is a grow pot. It has drainage holes on the bottom. Most of this is all pups. And I think this is probably like a 4-week thing, maybe a little longer. This is probably my best. Oh, I didn't tell you what this was. This is called a string of turtles, or Peperomia Prostrata. Prostrate, meaning flat. So the leaves are little and flat. They look like little turtles. So prostrata, you heard me the first time. You catch my drift. Anyway, this is one of my favorite ones. The leaves, I want you to really get a good shot. The leaves are just so cool. Super easy to propagate. I'll show you how to do this at the end of the video. I took a little piece off and I'm gonna do the butterfly method, and I'll show you how I do it using soil. And we'll propagate that together. All right. Next up we have Piccolo Bando. Peperomia Piccolo Bando. Banda, like panda. Banda. So this is another pep that I absolutely love. It's amazing. I love the reddish colored texture is just absolutely fantastic. Loving these pups. Look how strong that red is in those pups. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I have propagated this probably a couple of weeks ago. And I stuck them in water. Granted, I could do the other method that I showed you already, but for today, I wanted to just show you what I've done so far with this one. And I'm going to pull them out and we're going to talk about it. Okay. So, a question that might come up in the comments would be something like, do you use liquid dirt? Liquid dirt or any fertilizer in your propagations? I didn't for the peperomia because I don't use fertilizer when I'm propagating peperomia. I've had success, lots of success, not using any of the liquid dirt or any other fertilizer. So for me, I don't. But other YouTubers might, other plant tubers might. That's cool too. I'm just letting you know what I do. Okay. So this one right here, this is a Piccolo Banda, and I could probably stick these 2 leaves directly in soil because this didn't take. Sometimes when you put peperomia in water, you'll see that the stems rot and they don't work out. And when that happens, you don't have to throw them out. You just stick them directly in soil and you'll get those pups that I showed you earlier in the video. So I'm gonna take these and propagate these. It's not a fail yet. All right, but you see how the roots are coming out of the bottom? There's no pups here yet, but it looks like they're really, really small and you probably won't be able to see them on camera, but it looks like they are starting. There is a pup though up here if you look. The pups came out through the top. So this is the kind of peperomia where you're gonna see the growth happening between the nodes. Now, do I know the scientific reason why that happens? No, I don't. But I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like when it grows after a couple of weeks sitting in water. And look at the color, it's really happy. So you can see the little pups coming out from these places. I think the correct term would be node for these, but not 1000% sure, so. All right, this is called a Peperomia San Marino. It looks a little sad right now, in my opinion. It's losing its color, and I just gave it a really close look. And it looks like it has spider mites. Whoops. Anyway, usually the color is a little bit brighter. I'm glad I looked at it closely. Anyway, so I had a couple of the same kind of thing happen. Leaves fall off. I'm gonna try the same technique with this one as I did my other ones. I've never actually propagated this one before, so this will be, you know, an experiment for me. It'll be really cool. So even though this one's been sort of in high neglect and been knocked over quite a few times by this guy, it's doing pretty decently. I'm actually kind of surprised. It looks like this is one of the pups right here, actually, because this is just sitting on the top.
Yeah. And when you get pups in the soil, you can easily separate them out and put them in a new pot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's another, you can just do it by separation for propagating those.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the spider mites are going to be kind of a pain in the butt here. So, yeah.
That's why you could do the leaf method, like cut some off so you can save your plant if that one doesn't make it.
Yeah, so that way I have backup reinforcements. But notice the leaf structure on this, so much different. Long and skinny, but still has, you know, some contrast. It's supposed to have really ruby-like stems. I'll make sure I treat it really good with the neem oil or maybe horticulture oil. I'm not sure if I would use horticulture oil on this though, because I don't know if peperomia is like that. So I probably will just stick with my neem oil and really try to shower it off and see how that goes. We'll see. You can't individually wipe down these leaves is my whole point. Once you get spider mites in a plant like this, you know, you just have to resort to spraying it and going back and looking at it and spraying it and making sure that you get those spider mites out of there. All right, so anyway, let's talk a little bit more. Let's do the propagations. Should we do it in the kitchen, Taylor?
Yeah, sure.
And then I'll show you guys how I propagate a few of these, giving you a live demonstration. Okay, let's do it. So guys, we're gonna do a little bit of propagating. All right, so you're gonna need some scissors. I'm gonna use my cool little Dixie cups with a hole in the bottom. Okay, and you're gonna need some soil. Okay, again, I used Miracle Grow. You can use whatever you want. It's up to you. So I'm just gonna fill them up with some soil. Simple thing. I'm gonna do a few of them before I start popping the propagations in there. Now you can do your propagations in water if you prefer. Okay, but I'm gonna do some in soil today and show you how I did those cool little propagations, and they were really easy and super successful, super quick, and really rewarding. It's really fun to see happen. Okay, so I've got 3 and 1 more. All right, so I'm just gonna start with this one. Okay, this is a healthy leaf. I can tell it's firm and it's a good one. Now, you can pop it in water, like I said, just as is, or you could just pop it directly in soil, just like that if you want. Or if you have a leaf that does not have a stem like this one, just pop that in there too. And I usually just make like a little tunnel with my finger, stick it in the side, shove soil on it. If it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. This leaf is not as healthy as this leaf is. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to, if you have propagations like this, is to take out your propagation and then pop off the pups. Here's a pup. Oh, that one's kind of hard to see here. This one's a little pup. I'm gonna pop it off. Okay, and I did that with a bunch beforehand, so I'm just gonna use those. Here's some of the pups from before. I'm just going to make a little tunnel in the soil with my finger. And pop that baby right in there. That's it. And I'm gonna do this one with a couple in there and let it get kind of a bit, kind of larger. And then I'll take it out and repot it after it's, really grown some. So I put 3 of those in here. And this can get cut off. You don't need that.
Super tiny, but that's what this started off as.
Yep.
So for reference.
Yep, that's how this one was this once upon a time, and now it's this. So I was going to say to do the butterfly method with this one, It's gonna be kind of hard, I think, on this one. Maybe not. So if there's enough space between the internodes, you can cut them like this and just place them around and pop them in there. So it takes a little bit of time with this guy, but you want to make sure the butterfly method is kind of like you go. It's very tiny. I can hold this up just a second. It's very tiny. Butterfly means, you know, if you have the wings, I guess. Normally there's two, but I don't know. For some reason I can never get this to do butterflies. That's okay though. This works too. Stick it right in there. Okay. The part that makes the growth happen is where this petiole intersects. There's like a node there, kind of. Does that make sense? I hope so. I think I'm speaking the right terms. And then I'll come over to the sun. And then for this one, like, I'm gonna do another one of these in the center here. Don't cut yourself. Okay, and then this one too. And then I'm not cutting this one. I'm gonna, because this one's at the tip right there. It's still a baby, so I'm just gonna pop that right directly in the soil. And then we'll come back over here. And I'm just gonna stick these guys so they're sticking out. And I'm leaving them like that, okay? I'm gonna water these probably tomorrow or maybe the next day, but I'm not gonna water them now because I want the soil to be loose. And this is Miracle Grow soil, and these kinds of plants, yes, I've propagated and I've done it in Miracle Grow. But here's the thing. This soil is considered a little bit dense for, you know, Peperomia prostrata, for peperomias, you know what I mean? It's a little bit, it holds moisture. For someone like me, that's good because I have lots of plants to water and I sometimes don't get to them as quickly as I'd like to. So for me, it works. If you're an overwaterer, choose a different soil, like maybe a cactus soil. I have had success propagating in this though, so I'm recommending it. As you can see, this is evidence of an extremely good propagation because of all the legs. Now granted, I had it so it would grow up. When I did this propagation, I only have the soil like, you know, down here, so I have at least what, 1.5 inches, so the legs could grow up the sides. I thought that would, maybe that's my hack. I don't know if anyone else does it. I know I haven't seen it anywhere on the plant tube. But I did it that way because I wanted it to grow up and out. And then the idea is eventually I'm going to take this out, put this in a pot, and then I'll have legs. But I felt like letting it climb up would make the leaves bigger because it works for my other plants. So I guess take that tip or not, but I really think these are very big. Look, these are babies. And for Peperomia prostrata, they're kind of large for just being brand new growth. What do you think, Taylor?
Yeah.
So I had success with that. Do not put your peperomia in direct sunlight. Sunlight scorches them. Direct sunlight does. It will make your peperomia, like these ones, the prostrata, it'll make them bubble and look like they're gonna pop. I actually do have one in here because my daughter had it in sunlight, my other daughter. So this is what they look like when they get too much sun. Can you see that? They look like they're gonna bubble. So instead of throwing them out, I propagated it. And then these babies grew out. So, just a tip. They like the lighting situation that peperomias like is a low to medium light, but never direct sunlight. All right, so the other plant that I wanted to show you how to propagate is Piccolo Banda. I'm gonna do this guy, okay? And I'm just gonna stick them directly, I'm gonna make a little tunnel, stick them directly in the soil, make sure those babies have room to breathe. And in order to get really nice propagation, like a full plant, I would probably put, you know, I mean, granted, this is a tiny container, but I would probably put, I don't know, I'd cram this baby full, maybe 6 or 7 in here, and then I'll repot it later. All right, put this one in here. And then guys, I'm gonna be posting the results of these on Instagram, so that way you can see, you know, the progress. Now this one right here, I'm gonna go ahead. This one right here is the one that doesn't have a stem. I'm gonna make a tunnel. I like to use the side to hold it up, and then I kind of push it back a little and I put a little soil in the back. And then I just push it around there. Just like, so it gets something.
So they can really.
And then what other one? The Rosa, right? The San Marino.
Yeah.
All right, and then with the San Marino, I am going to make sure there's holes. Yep, there is. I'm gonna go ahead and shake this out. See what I can find. So there was a baby here I'm gonna stick. Hold on, Taylor, I'll come to you.
Okay.
So I have this guy, which does not have a stem at all. I'm just gonna stick them just like I did before on the side. Okay, this one's a pup. I'm gonna go ahead and take the pup and stick it directly in there. This guy is kind of, it fell. Whoopsie. This guy fell. The stem's kind of wonky. Just gonna tear that off. Stick it down in there. Done. So we'll see how that comes in. Again, I will keep you posted on Instagram. The watermelon peperomia, this one right here. Here's one of my propagations that's been sitting in water. These are the pups right here. They've already grown large. So I probably would just stick this directly in the soil is what I would do for this one. So again, fill up the cup. And then make a little tunnel. And then pop it in. Pack it down a little bit. And like I said, I'm gonna water these tomorrow because the soil is already kind of moist. So I'm not gonna water them until tomorrow or maybe the next day. So there's my watermelon propagation, watermelon peperomia, and I will show you on Instagram the updates of these plants just as soon as they grow. Did I do this one?
No.
Okay. Psych. Not done yet. All right, fill this up with soil. I'm gonna just inspect this plant. It's been super dried out, so I'm sure something's gonna fall off of it. Now, see how dry this is? It's bone dry, it completely dried out. You cannot propagate this stuff, to my knowledge, unless you know how. In that case, put it in the comments below if you've propagated dead peperomia. I'd love to know about it. This is a little pup right here, it looks like. I could take this if I wanted to. Just gonna leave that in there though.
You can just peel a leaf off.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm just looking. Just looking to see. So like, okay, because I wanted to show them.
Yeah.
I wanted to show this. So guys, when you have a peperomia and it starts doing this, like laying down thing where it's drooping and it looks unattractive, that's when I would go ahead and propagate those ones. Where'd my scissors go? Can you hand me my scissors?
Yeah.
So I would, when you get this drooping thing, because sometimes it happens. It happened with my silver peperomia quite a bit. I would just go ahead and snip that baby, propagate that. If there's any other ones that are unsightly, I would just take those. This one actually has a big root on it. I'm not gonna mess with that one. I just take the ugly ones off. This one looks ugly. Snip, bye-bye. And the other ones look like they're standing up pretty good. This one I don't like though. All right, that's enough. All right, I need to get to watering that one right away. So, like I said earlier, you know, if you really want to, you could just pop this right in water and it'll grow pups, okay, if you wanted to. I would use a different vessel than this one. I would use this vessel. I would use the one that stands it up. Okay, so what's happened when I've done it this way before is sometimes the stems rot. For whatever reason, it doesn't work out. So, you know, not all the time, but sometimes. So you can do it this way. And then again, if you have pups on the bottom, you just keep popping them off and putting them in, you know, your containers. That works. With soil, obviously. So for this one, I think I'm just gonna pop them in here to propagate those ones. And then I'm gonna do one. The stem is too floppy on here. I'm gonna cut the stem off, same as before. Make room in the soil and just stick that leaf with this part down in the soil. You gotta have that part in the soil. It's, to my knowledge, that's how I do it. Stick it in there, push the soil over. This one could be propagated in water. I could give it a shot. And then if I had any other ones laying around, this is silverpeperomia, I would just do the same thing. Even if the leaf isn't pretty, it'll still create pups if it's healthy enough. Generally speaking, you know, you can take whatever leaves fall on the ground that don't have stems or ones that rot off if you tried propagating in water and it didn't work out. You just pop them in soil. So I think that for me, at least, it's just such an easy method that I've never gone wrong. When I do it in soil, it always works. I've never had one fail. But when I do it in water, sometimes the stems rot off. It could be anything, I don't know. Okay, so just kind of, you know, giving you some advice. This method is like tried and true. I've tried it a lot. All right, that's it.
All right.
We did them all.
Yep.
All right. So, hey guys, thank you for joining us today with our Peperomia fun. I hope you learned something about how to propagate peperomia and maybe a few care tips about soil for different variations of how you could do things. Hope you enjoyed my little Dixie cup method. You know, you can pretty much turn any kind of cup with holes in the bottom into a propagation container. I have about 200 of these bad boys in my garage, and they're on a cookie sheet. So I don't need little coasters for each one of them. I just line them up on a cookie sheet. And then what I do when I have to water them is I get my watering can and I just water the whole thing at the same time, or I bottom water. So it works out. So yeah, fun little projects if you really want to do like a little propagation fun with your friends or family or just for yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're new here, please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. And hey, follow me on Instagram. I'm PlantLux on Instagram. I'd like to get you over there. Okay? Well, I guess I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!
Worst case.